Hey, hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. Now, when it comes to video games, there is a lot of debate when it comes to what is most important when it comes to a game. There's a lot of debate going around. It's a very subjective thing to talk about, though. What is most important in a video game? Which of the three pillars that hold up and create that form of video game is most important? Story, gameplay, or graphics? Again, this is very subjective and very debatable. Which of these three is most important to you, however? I hope you guys let me know in the comments below. But for now, just listen to me while I debate about this, ramble on, and just talk about this subject, because it's a very interesting one. Well, let's look at what people usually say. We usually see debated in the comments of many websites, especially YouTube, that people say, oh, you should stop complaining about story and graphics. Gameplay is what's most important. Oh, why are you complaining about this? Doesn't the game have good gameplay? Is the game fun to play? That is the real question. But then again, you see many a person debating in the comments section, complaining about video games that aren't graphically optimized well, that don't have this resolution, that don't have this frame rate, that don't have these textures. Oh, the textures are poor. Oh, it can only get this much resolution. Oh, only that FPS. Oh, this video game looks ugly. Or it's the exact opposite, saying, OMG, best graphics ever. So pretty. But then we have those who find story. That story is very important in their video games. And we know story is very important. Look at The Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us. Look how popular those completely story-driven games are. Look at the debate and the conversation that is started up by those games. Look at the ending of Mass Effect 3 and the absolute uproar over the ending to a story in a video game. Look at the massive uproar and the petitions and the huge controversy that was the Mass Effect 3 ending. And then to travel in waters I don't usually tread, let's look at Nintendo's games. Look at Metroid Other M. Look at Other M. Look at how poorly received that game was by the Metroid community, not because of its gameplay, mind you, but because of its story, because of how the story portrayed its main character, how the main character was characterized and developed. Over a Nintendo game of all things. Goes to show you how powerful and important video game stories are to people. Hell, video game story is important to me. The most disappointing game I had this year was The Evil Within, and I wasn't disappointed by The Evil Within's graphics or gameplay, but its story is what disappointed me the most, and why it's not going to show up on my top 10 games of 2014. I will say The Evil Within is a good game, but the story and pacing of it all, its atmosphere, which is also arguably part of the story, was disappointing to me as a whole and made it a lesser game to me, even though I admit the graphics and gameplay are good. Yet, in other games, the story doesn't bother me like at all. Whether the story is good or bad or mediocre doesn't bother me. Some games I absolutely love, even though other people think or believe or say, or even it is true sometimes, that a game has a bad or a good story. I'll keep playing because of the gameplay. So, when it comes to me, I'm back and forth between story and gameplay, while I will replay a game and keep playing a game, and sometimes be disappointed by the story and sometimes not at all. When it comes to video game graphics, I really couldn't give less of an ass. People who debate resolutions, I think, are ridiculous. Now, I can understand the frames per second. I can understand the frames per second debate, because frames per second, FPS, is important when it comes to a game, because it directly affects the gameplay. It affects your skill and enjoyment of the game, frames per second. So, you know what? I can understand the frames per second debate. I can get that. I don't get resolutions. Resolutions don't matter. Does the game look good? It does look good. Oh, it's not the same resolution as an other game? Who gives a crap? Who cares what console can run what game at what resolution? Doesn't make it a lesser game. May have it look a slightly less prettier game. Doesn't affect the gameplay. Frames per second affects gameplay, so I can understand the debate there. But only because it directly affects gameplay. Other than that, I Textures, lighting, shadows, I don't mind. Yes, it can bother me sometimes when my computer can't run a game at its prettiest, but that doesn't affect my experience with the game, and it doesn't affect my feelings towards the game or how much I will enjoy it. Of course, I will always try to run a game at the highest settings just because I like looking at something pretty, but I don't mind running a game at medium or low settings. Sure, it may not look as good, but it will still look reasonably well, and I can still play it and enjoy it. For me personally, the one of the three pillars that is most important to me is gameplay. I couldn't care less for graphics. I honestly couldn't unless it concerns frames per second. And as for story, I'm split. I'm split and I'm conflicted with that. While I won't call a game bad, I will be disappointed by a game if it doesn't have a certain story sometimes, or if it doesn't meet its full potential when it comes to a story. Good, bad story will not determine whether I pick up a game or not. It will always be gameplay for me. But I know a great many of you are different. As I said before, people still whine about resolutions and textures. People still whine about the story choices and story mishaps or an unsatisfied story. But what do you guys think? What is your opinion? Which of the three pillars of a video game, which of the three most important pieces of a video game that come together to make a video game is most important to you? Is story most important to you? Is gameplay most important to you? Or is graphics most important to you? Let me know in the comments below. I seriously want to hear your comments on this subject, on this topic, guys. I would love to hear your opinion and what you think of my opinion on this. So, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It helps me, and it helps the video, helps the channel as a whole, and it helps you too a little bit. So please hit that like button, and if you're new and just stumbled across this video and you're interested in seeing more of what I have to offer, why not hit that subscribe button and check out my older videos. Anyways, this has been a video. This has been the Gamertron, and I will see you guys later.